Welcome to another edition of Tech Bytes with Ron Nutter, your home for all things relating to smart home technology. In this episode, we're going to talk about how to use NFC to make your own contact or business card and a lot more. Hi, I'm Ron Nutter, and we're going to be working on this together. For any items mentioned in this episode, there are affiliate links in the description. If you click on these links, I will get a small commission, but that won't affect the price you pay for the item. If you want to get notified when new content is uploaded, please click on subscribe and enable notifications. Today we're going to talk about how to use NFC in your smart home. And get comfortable, folks, because we got quite a bit to go over. Item number one, we're going to talk about what is NFC. If you've not heard of it before, this section is specifically for you. If you've dealt with NFC, use it a little bit. This is one that if you want to skip over, that's fine too. Item number two, we're going to look at the requirements. This will be something that is going to cover both the smartphone and the different NFC cards, tags, bobs. I think you get the picture. Number three, basic NFC examples. What we're going to be looking at here is to get you started looking at creating your own business card or other card that you could use if you're a content creator. There will also be uses where we're going to look at the NFC bobs, tags. I think you get the picture where this one is going. And then number four, advanced NFC examples. And this is where the rubber's really going to hit the road. This is something that you'll be talking about tying it into Home Assistant, as well as making configuration changes within your smartphone just by brushing up an NFC tag to help streamline the process for you. Well, now we're on to the next section, how to use NFC in your smart home. And this time we'll be talking about the requirements, what you're going to have to be able to make this work. First, we're going to talk about the smartphone. Now, ideally, this should be in the 4 to 5 year range in terms of when it was released. There are ways you can tell. Now, some of the lesser expensive phones probably won't have NFC in it, but you're going to see a screenshot right now of how to tell if the phone's got it in it, because depending on where you are in the world, NFC may not be supported in the country you're in. In the US, yes. So it's just a matter of come down to finding the phone that's going to work best for you. Then we're going to need to have some sort of supported NFC device. And there's a whole host of things to choose from here. First, the fob, and we're all familiar with that format. Now, the tag is another one that has a lot of potential to it. This is one that's going to be usable to where you can mark something as being yours, and as long as it has some area of plastic where the signal can get through, you can have it marked where nobody else will know that it's there unless they go probing around with an NFC-enabled smartphone. And then the last one, and the one you'll be seeing a lot of examples on in this video, is how to set up a business card or ID badge. So that's something that there's something in here for everybody. For those of you who are not familiar with how NFC works, let me give you kind of quick chalkboard talk with what's going on. So we'll quickly start out here with what we're going to call, and I'm going to use abbreviations here. So this is our smartphone. Now that's going to be what I call the NFC interrogator, because this is where all the magic is going to happen. And then down here, we're going to have the NFC device. And the NFC device, and I have another drawing for you here in just a minute, is a pretty dumb device. It really, you don't have to worry about batteries going bad. So when you've got the smartphone within, usually touching, but I got to have some distance here, it's continually sending out what I will call probes to the NFC device. And in that probe is going to be enough power for the NFC device to respond. So you'll have the smartphone looking for the NFC device, and then you will have the NFC device respond back to the smartphone, and then you're dependent on whatever app you're using to indicate what's going to happen next. If it's just simply a serial number, or if you've got it modifying the configuration of the smartphone, or you've got Home Assistant being told what to do, you get the picture. So let's go here and we'll just pick another page here. Now, an NFC card and the fobs are going to be pretty much the same thing. You're going to have a little electronics, and I'll call it a package here, somewhere in the middle of the card, and it could be off one way or the other. And then you will have a loop that goes around here, and that's how it picks up the signal. And excuse my drawing, that was not my forte in school. And it's going to be able to respond back to the device. Now, ideally, the NFC magic in your smartphone is going to be usually probably in the top half, possibly top third. Now, while we got this drawing up, let's look at something here. Now, you notice that the antenna might be close to one side, and this is where if you take a really bright bulb, you'll see where exactly the antenna is. And I worked at a company where this happened, and this was in the early days of what turned into NFC. Then it was called proximity sensors. But there were some folks who decided that card was a little too big for their wall, and they just took a pair of scissors to it. Well, what they went and did is they cut it down right here and cut it down, kind of right there. That's just a rough approximation. Well, the card worked for about a day or two, and then it quit. Well, at that point, they had to go to HR and say, hey, the card doesn't work. And then they showed it, and I've been taking scissors to it. And this is back at a time when that kind of technology the cards were, I was told, was at $75 a piece. So what you can do is there's a way around it. Now, you notice down here on the bottom, there's a big area. So if you take what I'll call an oblong hole punch, you can put it on a lanyard there, or you can actually do a circular entry. You figure out what's best for you, and that's going to show you where you can mount it, and that way they don't have to worry about it being bent in a wallet or not working with somebody's, feelings as to where they want to have it. This way, it's readily available and can be used very quickly, and you'll use it almost become muscle memory to where you will have ease of use, very quick to use, and it will just be very transparent. You won't even think about it. Now, continuing on in the series on how to use NFC in your smart home, we're going to talk about some basic NFC examples. And these are easy to get started with, minimal requirements. Once you could pass the phone and having some sort of NFC device, you're going to be ready to roll. The first one, and we've talked about this a little bit earlier, is going to be a business card or a contact card. Now, if you're not doing business, okay, then it becomes a contact card, and that's maybe a distinction without a difference. If, say, like I'm a content creator, I need to be able, when talking with companies, giving them a quick list of all the places that my videos or content is featured on, and with direct links to make it easier for them so they don't have to go searching once they hit a platform like YouTube or you name the platform of choice. Now, when you put a NFC card that's been configured or programmed, whatever you call it, behind your phone, you'll see something similar to this. It'll show you everything that's on the card. Couple of things to keep in mind. While you can write protect this so that nobody can try to sneak up on you, be a comedian or something like that, and make changes to the card, once you have done that, you can never change the card again, because it apparently throws a bit somewhere in the card and it cannot be undone. When you get to the software where we actually do this, then you will see that. So just keep in mind that what will, what potentially is going to happen. There's more than one way to handle some of this, and it's just figuring out what's going to work best for you. Number one, I would not put your phone number in this one because you don't know what's going to happen to the information once you give it to somebody else. It may get inadvertently passed on to somebody else. Your phone number access needs to be requested and then directly by the person who's going to need it. Now, email address, I would set up what's called an email alias or a separate email account and have all the email that's going for your NFC contact card, business card, whatever you call it, go to a separate account. So that way, again, if somebody happens to grab the information you shouldn't have and start sending you email that you don't want for whatever reason, you can kill that email address and start all over. So it's a little bit of a crude way of handling, but it's one that should serve you well when the need arises. Now, to set up a card, you're going to need to have something called NFC Tools. At least, I'm doing this on an Android. There's probably other apps out there, but this is all the research that I did kept pointing back to this one. Now, there's a reason that we're using this type business card that I am. This is the one that has the largest, and hopefully I can get a picture up on the screen around to show you there's different versions out there. But of the business card, this one has almost 1K of memory in it. So it gives you the most chance of having all the information you'll want to have on there, especially if you're a content creator or an influencer, or you just have a lot of information you may need to share because of what you're using the card for. Now, some of them, like the buttons and the little tags, don't have a great degree of memory to work with. So as you're making changes, keep in mind on the other menu, there's an erase tag and format memory. Sometimes if you've got to make a change to that card, you can simply erase the tag and you're fine. Other times, if it keeps complaining it can't write to the card, you're going to have to format it. So that's just the little trick right there. And when you go into read, and we'll come up here right now, and it shows you what kind of card we're working with. And see, it's got all the information on there. So what we're going to need to go do is we're going to erase the tag. Okay, it says erase complete. So we'll go back out here and we'll let it go and see it says record 1 empty. And we're going to do this with just a single entry because this is going to take a little finessing and figuring out how it's going to work best for you. So just keep in mind, move forward. So here's the information it says 924 bytes, 231 pages. I don't look at the number of pages. This is how much memory we got. So it's got nearly 1K of memory, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're dealing with text, you can do quite a bit. So we'll have to go to write to put information on the card. So what I'm going to go do here is what I have done is I will copy my business card information into Google Keep to have it, and I'm trying to get to the card copy. Here we go. Select all, and then we're going to do copy, and then we'll move back over here to NFC Tools, and we'll go add a record. We'll say text, and I'll press and hold, and it says paste as plain text. So it's going to have, see now it's put all this information and you didn't have to retype that. And do you want to retype all this on a smartphone? Yeah, I don't think so. So we'll tap on OK, and then we'll go to write, and it will say approach it. So write complete. So that time we were able to go with just wiping the card. So I've had a few times when it just simply got so attitudinal that it just didn't want to play nice. Now let's go ahead and we'll read the card here, but we're going to go back to the other phone. So now it sees that, so we know at least on this phone what we're going to be doing. Switch back over to what I'll call the recipient phone, somebody you're trying to give your contact information into. So now that we've got the card configured, this is what you will come up with. Now you can click on the links. The problem is there's no way to copy and paste. And this is just from, the default functionality that's in Android. But it at least gets it over so your user has the ability, or a user has the ability to just do a screen capture and go on, which beats the heck out of having to make sure that they wrote the information down right. And it's at least a way to start. But we're going to see about an option that will make it easier for all concerned. Show you a way if the user doesn't already have, or the recipient of your NFC information doesn't already have software on there that will allow a way other than doing a screen capture to get your information. So as you can see, I've already installed NFC Tools on the recipient phone. So we'll put the card behind here. You can see it says NFC tag detected. And here's the information just like we were seeing the other ones. Now if we tap on those little 3 buttons, you will see copy to clipboard. That's what's going to let us get it to whatever their CMS or contact management system is. If they're using Goldmine, or there's a whole lot of other, even if they're using an email program, or they want to bring it into their smartphone. What they can do with this is bring it into the notes field and then manually move what they need to, like your name, address, phone, city, or city, state, zip, and then your email address, and then all this other items down here with your information as to where to see your other social media presence. So if you're using it for that, or if you want to give them past project information, you decide. This is going to be your card. I'm looking at this as a content creator, but if you're, say, someone who is in the Masonic order, you're a Shriner, and you've got things you need to share with different parts of the organization, or as you travel to different locations and parades and whatnot, this is a way to do it. There are other ways to do it. Now, the next one to look at is proof of ownership. Now, yes, we can put stickers on the front, and there's any number of ways it can be handled, but that's involving additional expense, because you got to go buy a whole big stack of stickers or labels. And if you've got something as simple as like an NFC tag, you can put it on there, not put any naming or anything on it. So it's not going to call attention to it, but yet as long as that tag, much like the more conventional option of having a labeled sticker with a serial number on it, this is going to be something that's not going to scream what it is. So it's got a chance of slipping right through, and when you have to go prove that it's yours, that's one way to do it. Now, if you do have an all-metal case, what you can certainly do is open up the case, put the NFC tag inside. Yes, you can't read it from the outside, but all it takes is opening up that case and then scanning that NFC tag, and then you'll be able to prove, that the device is yours. Now, the last thing is asset control. Now, this can be, it almost overlaps with proof of ownership, but with asset control, you're typically going to have a company name and a number or a series of letters and numbers to prove that it's yours. Now, for the more expensive items, the vendor should be able to go back and tell you that it's yours, but this way you don't have to get the vendor involved. You can simply scan it, show the display to the police officer, and that should take care of any questions that you're going to have. Now, in the last part of our using NFC in your smart home, we'll be talking about the advanced NFC examples. Now, there are 2 things that I've found so far, and I'm looking for others, but you've only got so many hours in the day, and other things have to be done. And this one's going to be managing smartphone configuration management. Now, this is something that is like, well, why do you want to manage it? Okay, well, let's look at it this way. Say you've got a client that wants to have a backup internet connection, and they happen to have a plan on their smartphone that allows it to be used as a hotspot. Well, but they're not maybe the most smartphone literate person, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but some people just don't delve into the settings of their phone. By using one tag, one NFC tag, you can sit there and turn on or configure or both the hotspot functionality of the main device. Then with a different tag, you can sit there and enable the hotspot SSID and turn it on. And you can have yet a third one that turns it off. So those people who really have to have it can get it up and running very quickly without having to have technical knowledge. And best of all, they don't even have to know the password. So if you want them to be able to kind of do some self-service, this is going to be a way for them to be able to do that. Now, the other option is going to be Home Assistant integration. This is where you can really get into the weeds, so to speak, because you can sit there and have a smart tag recognized, and it will go, in some cases, on nothing more than the serial number of the smart tag. And when the Home Assistant smartphone app sees a certain tag number, it will go, oh, okay, I now need to go to this, because you will actually do that configuration within the Home Assistant menu. The beauty of that is if that tag gets lost, it tells the person who's got it absolutely nothing, because the configuration on what to do is in your Home Assistant setup. So this has got a whole lot of things to go for it, and these are going to be things that we'll be covering in future videos as we go on. But there was a base standard I wanted to get everybody up to, so as we get into more and more of the weeds, that you'll have a foundation to build on. If you're watching this on YouTube, you're going to see videos on the screen that are similar to the one you've just watched, or other content that YouTube thinks you might be interested in. If this video helps you or provides value, please click on the like button, thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please click on the subscribe button and enable notifications. See you in the next episode. Thanks for watching.